And so hockey is back. And Peter, we do our draft and we use a trivia question now to determine who gets the first pick between you and Sims when it's the three of us. So an important hockey-related question today. At the behest of Elaine Bennis, David Putty stopped painting his face before New Jersey Devils games. He instead painted his chest. What letter did David Putty paint on his chest before the Devils game, Peter?
D as in dog.
There you go. Boy, that was...
that's ridiculous. That was so easy. That's ridiculous.
Man, David Putty was jacked.
Man, he was. Whoa, I didn't realize he was...
Devils! Devils!
All right. Peter, you get the first pick. The draft today, the Week 4 GOATs, not in a good way, not the way Sims thinks, the way you use it in your column from time to time.
The fact that we got to say it says it all. The fact that you had to clarify what GOATs are.
It says that you are dumb. That's what it says.
No, all we talk about is goats all the time, and you're a jerk for saying that, okay? You're dumb, too, so shut up, all right? Go ahead, Peter. I'm sorry.
All right, the goat of the week for me is Jared Goff. He threw for 9 million yards against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, but much of that happened because of his own poor play. He gave the Tampa Bay Buccaneers way too many chances, made way too many mistakes, and a game that you should mark down in the win column 10 times out of 10, 50 out of 50. Jared Goff handed that, plus the Rams defense, to the Bucs on a platter.
I am going to argue with that one because Jared Goff can't block and throw the ball at the same time. He threw 3 interceptions, but 2 of them weren't his fault. So I'm going to push back against you. I don't like that pick there. Okay, Mr. Peter King and Mr.
All right, I'll ungoat Jared Goff.
No, that's all right. You're stuck with him now. Okay. All right, I'm going to go with a unit because it's just the unit that we saw have a performance that, I didn't think would happen anytime soon, and it was shocking. But the Baltimore Ravens defense, they deserve, the GOAT award, the bad GOAT award, okay? Because there they were, home football game, Cleveland Browns, kind of wobbly. We don't know what they are. They're trying to find their confidence. Are they battle-tested? The Ravens can take control, as Peter mentioned earlier in the show, of the AFC North if they come out with a win. And the Ravens defense just got dominated. Dominated. There's no other way to say it. When you let up over 100-something yards to Nick Chubb, and then, of course, Baker Mayfield threw for over 300 yards, but 530 total yards of offense by the Cleveland Browns. Yes, the Ravens get the bad GOAT award.
All right. You're going to be shocked by this one, Sims.
Oh, Kirk Cousins, and Kirk Cousins.
We're 20 games into this experiment now, and I think we can safely declare it to be Peter Brady's volcano. It is not working, and the Vikings win the games they're supposed to win, but when it's time to go on the road, when it's time to play in prime time, when the quarterback is conscious of the fact that he needs to step up and make the plays, he just can't. And it was no more on display than it was at Soldier Field on Sunday. Not making the throws that were there, getting criticized by Adam Thielen after the game, getting called out sort of by his head coach yesterday for not pulling the trigger when he could. On the days that they can't run the ball, they need to be able to throw the ball, and they just can't this year, and it all falls to their $84 million quarterback, Kirk Cousins. Sorry, Kirk.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You're real sorry. I'm sure you are. Yep. He's salty, Peter. His Vikings didn't win or play good. He's all over Kirk this week.
Well, he was on my list too. So
Mine
Mike
too.
sort of, yeah. He picked in front of me. I'm going to take Kerryon Johnson of the Detroit Lions, and here's why.
Yeah.
We're 5 minutes into the second half of this game. It's a 13-13 game with one of the Super Bowl favorites. You're playing them great. You have just gone the length of the field on the Kansas City Chiefs. You're gonna find a way to get this one in the end zone. It's going to be 20-13. You're going to be ahead in the third quarter. You're going to ride the wave, and you're going to shock the world, and you're going to beat the Chiefs. Well, Kerryon Johnson did what you're not supposed to do unless you're a positive that you can reach the ball so that it pierces the plane of the goal. He reached the ball, but he was nowhere near the plane of the goal. The ball gets popped out, and the Chiefs run it back 100 yards for the touchdown. They end up winning the game narrowly. Kerryon Johnson has to wear the goat horns for that.
Yeah, that's a really good pick by you, Peter. I forgot about him when I made my little list here, but that was a crucial part of the football game. You are right. And it just wasn't the right opportunity to do it the way you explained it. Yeah, I mean, and in the middle of a pile of people where it's not like it was just like one guy tackled him where he could just reach it out. He was in the middle of the mosh pit of a short-yarded situation and tried to do it. So that was certainly ill-advised. Good pick there. All right, I'm going to go with one of my buddies. I mean, this guy's my boy, Blue, but Josh Allen, I got to put him I got to give him the goat horns too. Just for the way he played early in that football game, or not early in that football game, but until he got hurt, and I'm hoping he's okay because, you know, Mike, I'm a big Josh Allen fan of what he can do. But it was just too loose and reckless in that game. And there's just no excuse for it. You got a great defense. It's the New England Patriots in town, and I understand you want to have put on a good show for the Patriots and all that. But, man, I mean, just the reckless decisions to throw the ball down into coverage and you know, the 3 interceptions and people are open underneath. You know, that was just not a good game by Josh Allen, and he's got to find a way to rein it in. He's got a little bit of that, Mike, you've heard me say it. It's like every play is the last play of the football game, and he put them in a tough spot, and they were still there to win the football game. I mean, they had a chance even despite all of that, but Josh Allen got to rein it in a little bit.
All right, I'm going to go with a guy we've already talked about today, and that is Vontaze Burfict, the Raiders linebacker, for a variety of reasons. For the unsafe play, the potential injury he could have inflicted on Jack Doyle, the ejection from the game. The Raiders still won, but this is a guy that they would have preferred to have on the field throughout the course of the game. And now the 12-game suspension. Who knows what the ultimate number will be after appeal. But when we talk about the desire to make the game safer, the desire to make the game more palatable for parents who are deciding whether or not to let their children play, you cannot play like Vontaze Burfict. You potentially injure yourself, you potentially injure opponents, and you make yourself unavailable for your team. And the Raiders at 2-2, look around. A lot of 2-2 teams in the AFC. 2-2 is the 6th seed right now based on tiebreakers, and the Raiders could use Vontaze Burfict, and they may be without him for the rest of the season, or probably at least half of the rest of the season, all because he continues to play like an idiot.
Hard to argue that.
My third pick, I mean, hey, that should be number 1 on all of our lists.
Yeah,
really.
right.
You're right, Mike. Right. My third pick is going to be Matt Ryan. Because although he didn't do anything singularly disastrous, the point is this. The Atlanta Falcons come into Sunday's game 1-2. You pay your quarterback $30 million or whatever it is that Matt Ryan makes on average per year. And he's got a receiving core of Julio Jones, Calvin Ridley, Mohamed Sanu. He's got a healthy Devontae Freeman in the backfield. He threw the ball 53 times, 0 touchdowns, 10 points, 11 possessions. That is not good enough. And look, you can't fire the players. You end up firing the coach, and Dan Quinn, my guess is, at the end of this year, probably is going to get fired. But he needs some help from his players who Arthur Blank is paying $1 jillion to.
Yeah, Peter, I'm really actually pissed you did that because that was going to be my pick. I was going to take the Falcons offense and kind of make the same points you made. I mean, you're right. I mean, hey, it's just not, it's inexcusable. You know, some of the turnovers they had before these games, the Matt Ryan, the red zone interceptions, and you're right, 10 points against the Tennessee Titans defense. That's shown spots of being good. Don't get me wrong, but just not acceptable with some of the talent they have and the money they're paying to some of those guys. I'm with you there. Okay. I don't know what you really rattled me there.
Why don't you take the Cincinnati offensive line?
That's where I'm going. Bengals offensive line. That was my next one. I'm going Bengals offensive line because that was a disaster last night. And as much as I want to say like Andy Dalton, get out of the pocket a little bit and have a little more urgency there, still, I mean, there's no excuse for what we saw last night. And that goes on Zach Taylor as well. I mean, at some point you got to realize, damn, we're outmanned tonight, and our O-line's getting their butts whooped. Let's figure out a new formula here to help my quarterback out. But, just lack of blocking people as far as picking people up scheme-wise, and then people being picked up, but the guys can't actually execute the blocks and just getting run over by everybody. I mean, T.J. Watt, Dupree, Casey Hayward, Stephon Tuitt. I mean, just an embarrassing performance by that Bengals O-line.
All right, real quickly with my pick, and I'm going off the board a little bit here technically, but I'm going with Cam Newton because the video that popped up Friday with the glass of wine and the cigar and bearing his soul about his injury, look, bottom line is you shouldn't be saying these things publicly because the trail of breadcrumbs back to the Panthers hiding that injury, concealing the nature of the injury, week 1 and week 2, it's not all that hard to construct. And I think the Panthers may have some tough questions to answer with the league office because of his candor, but also he had no business playing week 1 or week 2. And who knows whether or not the Panthers would have potentially beaten the Rams or potentially beaten the Buccaneers with Kyle Allen instead of Cam Newton. But he should not have been playing in those games. He should not be telling this stuff to the world. And I know Ron Rivera is going to tiptoe around it and say, I'm fine with him being candid. I'm fine with him being honest. But he bared his soul in a way that allowed us to realize selfishness overcame, ego overcame what was best for the team. And it was clearly best for the team based upon what he admitted in that video Friday night, that he should not have been playing week 1 and week 2. And they couldn't have been any worse than 0-2. Maybe they would have been 1-1, and maybe they'd be 3-1 right now.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.